This is Luetin, and today we're going to be talking about the Battlefield 3 Premium release.
Hey guys, Levelcap here, and I'll be talking with Luetin about this. We're going to talk about some basically the features that have kind of been leaked, or we're mostly going off an article here on mpfirst.com. And according to the stat sheet that has been leaked, the premium Battlefield 3 package is going to be $49.99, and it's going to include Back to Karkin, Close Quarters, Armored Kill, Aftermath, and the new announced Endgame expansion. So technically, that's 5 expansions if you haven't bought Back to Karkin already. And included in these 5 expansions are 20 maps, 20 new weapons, 10 new vehicles, 4 new game modes, 30 assignments, and 20 new dog tags.
And I think you're getting obviously quite a large package there for your money. When you consider how much time this is going to run over, you're pretty much talking possibly about the lifespan of Battlefield 3, as far as we know anyway, because it'll be going well into the end of the year next year as well. So I really think that, you know, what they're offering here and the further things that we'll look at, it's a really good deal.
Yeah, and so what do you think when it says 20 new weapons? There's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not that means Back to Karkin as well. Because if they are including Back to Karkin, that means that we're technically only getting 10 new weapons if you've already paid your $15 for the Back to Karkin expansion.
Yeah, I mean, my kind of feeling would be that they couldn't do that. I mean, if they did, I think they would get a lot of stick for it. I think they would get a lot of criticism for it. But that is, I think it would definitely have to say that's a possibility, because they've listed Karkand as one of the, you know, the releases, the DLCs that you get as part of the package. I'm sure that they're doing that just to be comprehensive, but until it comes out or they release more information, there's really no way of knowing. I would have to say that I really hope that it isn't the case, but if it is, I guess they're just trying to, you know, give a kind of comprehensive package.
Yeah, and I think it would be very hard for them not to release any new weapons, because Close Quarters has already stated that they're coming out with 10 new weapons. So if it did include Back to Karkin, that would be it. Then we'd get 3 more expansions after this that had no new weapons in it. And that just doesn't sound like a smart plan to me. I'm sure DICE will probably have some new guns down the road for us.
I think on the other hand, though, there's obviously concern from some people about the fact that, okay, basically, you know, you're paying to get weapons, and I guess other people might argue that that's a little bit unfair on people. You know, they're basically sort of saying, okay, if you don't pay, you can't have this. And I don't know, I guess that would frustrate some people, but on the other hand, I guess, you know, so long as the weapons don't, you know, imbalance the game and make that, you know, totally destroy the dynamic, I don't necessarily see there's a real issue there.
Right. And a lot of the base weapons that you've gotten have tended to be some of the best anyway. I mean, everybody was thinking that the FAMAS was going to just wreck house, and now it's sort of been nerfed into oblivion.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that, but I think any hardcore Battlefield fans are probably going to drop the money for it anyway.
Yeah, no doubt at all. I mean, one thing that it really interests me is 4 new game modes. I'm quite interested in, you know, what that could be. I mean, have you got any speculation yourself on what you think that, you know, any of those game modes could be, or anything that you would, you know, like it to be?
Well, I'm wondering, again, if that includes Conquest Assault, if they're including Conquest Assault in those 4 new game modes. I wouldn't be that surprised if it was. But I know they have talked a bit about in Close Quarters. One of the new game modes is, I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it's kind of like Conquest, except you can't spawn at the flags. So there's 3 flags, and everybody has to keep spawning back at their deployment, or I assume on squad members. So this prevents you from, if you cap a back flag or something, you can't spawn at it and reinforce it. So I guess it's easier to keep the gimme flags, if you will, that are closest to your deployment.
Yeah.
And that sounds interesting. It sounds like it could be good for some of those close quarter maps.
Some people were speculating that perhaps Search and Destroy might be a function, or, you know, a game mode that would appear as one of these new game modes. I'm not entirely sure how much I would appreciate that, because I never really enjoyed Search and Destroy, mainly because it just became such a, you know, a death match where people would just literally try to eliminate the team and never go for the objective. I think if they were going to do that, I think, you know, with COD, what was that other game mode? I can't even remember. The one where you had 2 bombs.
Two bombs. I don't remember what it's called in Call of Duty. I haven't played COD that much, but
I haven't played for years. Anyway,
well, Search and Destroy is the basic Counter-Strike mode, and I know there's a lot of diehard Counter-Strike fans out there. Adding the option in, I think it doesn't hurt as long as the maps are decently designed for it. And if people don't like it, then you don't have to play it. But I do like the idea that they're adding all these new game modes. I'm sure diehard Battlefield fans are going to be like, Conquest is the only way to go. But clearly, Battlefield is evolving into much more than just a Conquest game.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's just go through the list, shall we, quickly, of the other things that are featured so far, or unofficially featured. We've got 2 weeks early access to all future Battlefield 3 expansion packs, starting with Battlefield 3 Close Quarters, unique in-game knife, unique in-game dog tags, 10 plus unique soldier camos, unique weapon camos, a stats reset feature, 10 plus unique platoon emblem decals, increased platoon emblem layers, server queue priority, save up to 5 of your favourite Battlefield reports, 5 plus unique assignments, exclusive events, exclusive double XP weekends, exclusive videos, strategy guides, and additional bonus content. First up, what would be the most important one for you out of that list?
Well, for me as a YouTuber, obviously 2 weeks early access to future Battlefield 3 expansions. Got to get all that stuff early. That's kind of cool, and I think it's going to make this package, the whole package, just much more attractive to anybody who knows they're going to be playing Battlefield 3 in the future. I mean, sitting around for 2 weeks while everybody gets to play all the new maps and new guns is not going to be cool. So I'm definitely going to be dropping my $50 for that.
I wonder as well if there's any kind of, anything tied into that, though, because we know that with, the upcoming one anyway, the new DLC for Close Quarters, it's been said that, PS3 is going to get that a week early. Now, I don't know whether that's for technical reasons or whether it's because they've got some kind of deal, but I wonder if there would still be any kind of that issue regardless of this 2 weeks.
So you're saying PS3 would get it 3 weeks early?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that seems unrealistic to me. It seems a bit stupid to, that would be the case. But, often these things are done on some kind of deal basis with people rather than a sort of technical rollout. So I'm just kind of curious as to whether from now on there will be none of that and literally it will be released the same time for everybody. I would kind of be in favour of that because I think it's, much fairer for everyone,
Yeah, it's hard to say what kind of back-end deals they had going on. Maybe it was PS3 would get one expansion early or something. Maybe that's over with now. Yeah. We can only hope. Let's see. Okay, what's the next thing on the list you find that you want to talk about?
Well, for me, I'm kind of curious about this stats reset feature. It sounds bizarre. I can't imagine what reason you would want to reset your stats for unless you had some cripplingly appalling stat and you cared so much about getting it up that you wanted to just reset it, but I can't really understand what that is about or what it would be.
So I've got some insight into this. So I know some guys, some younger guys, I think they're around 16 or so. I used to play in some clans with them, and they told me this thing that kind of blew my mind the other day. When the double XP weekend started, a bunch of their clan members bought new accounts so that they could play on double XP weekend and their stats would reflect something like 4,000 score per minute. And I mean, to me, this didn't make any sense whatsoever. I could imagine dropping all that extra money just so you could have some updated stats. But clearly there's a significant portion of people out there that really care about their stats a lot. And if you have a bad game or something, it seems like they're really willing to go ahead and just start over and reset them.
It seems absolutely baffling to me. I mean, I was literally only talking to someone about this yesterday when I was in game, and we were talking about the fact that, to be honest, as far as I'm concerned, I would rather we just literally had no stats at all. Because as far as I'm concerned, they really offer nothing other than, some people just kind of whoring their stats, as it were. I think that the game could become a lot more enjoyable if people didn't have stats constantly at the back of their head, and they just kind of got stuck in, had some fun games, and played for the enjoyment of the game rather than playing for numbers. That's my opinion on it anyway.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate too, because if you're say, playing the support class excellently, which means putting down a lot of suppressing fire, your accuracy is going to go to crap, but
Yeah.
you could be doing a great job of playing support. So stats have always been really misleading, and I've never been a huge fan of them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
whatever,
Yeah.
let people reset their stats, I guess. I don't know why that should be a premium feature, but Dice has to do what Dice has to do, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of other content in there that's kind of questionably, whether it should be premium or not. I mean, unique in-game knife, dog tags, soldier camos, weapon camos, all of these things are kind of, and exclusive double XP weekends. Again, you're kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of bits and pieces in there just kind of floating around, and a lot of it's kind of like, meh, they've kind of just tossed a load of little bits and pieces. I think most people are going to really be getting this for the expansions, but in Bad Company 2, just from your game purchase, if you got the exclusive game purchase straight off the bat, then you got all of the expansions after that, all the DLCs for free. So they've obviously changed their game up a little bit here, and I guess a lot of people can speculate on why that is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't mind as much as long as they keep coming out with content. I'm willing to pay for it, but I do I have an income, right? I know not all people out there are younger people who don't have jobs. It can be tricky to pay for all the new stuff. But again, it's a competitive industry, and they got to keep the money coming in. So
yeah,
I'm not particularly upset by it, but I can totally understand if some people are not thrilled about paying for it.
I mean, I'm definitely in a school of thought where, again, I feel like, they're giving you a lot of content, they're giving you extra expansions, extra maps, all these game modes and stuff. All of this stuff takes work, time, it takes a lot to be put into it, and so I'm quite happy to pay for it. I just think it's interesting to note that they've obviously changed, what they're going to do, and I expect that will now be the kind of benchmark from here on out, and people shouldn't expect to get stuff for free anymore. I just don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think it's a bad thing either, because, if they have the incentive that people are going to pay for it, then hopefully they would make that content better, or you would hope anyway.
Yeah. So what do you think they mean by exclusive events? I mean, they list double XP weekends separately from exclusive events, so that would seem to insinuate that something else is going to go on. Like,
personally, I would hope it would be something incredibly fun, like paintball mode, or I don't know what. But
yeah, that would be cool.
Something really silly, some good actual fun stuff rather than the technical things for a change. But I don't know. It's very difficult to say whether they would, perhaps they might host some actual genuinely competitive thing with prizes or whatever. Who knows? I mean, that could be really awesome, but I don't know. It could be literally anything.
Yeah, knife weekend or something.
That would be epic. Or, bring back MAVs just for one weekend, indestructible.
Indestructible MAVs, or maybe you could only kill people with roadkills or something.
It'd be cool.
Something ridiculous. So yeah, the other thing that I think is it upset me a little bit when I first read it was server queue priority to people who buy the Battlefield Premium thing. And to me, that seems like, okay, you got players who spent $60 buying Battlefield 3. And now if they don't spend that extra money, they're going to sort of be at the back of the line whenever they're trying to join servers, because everybody who spent the extra 50 on top of that is now getting all this priority in front of them. So to me, it seems like they're kind of crapping on people who either don't have the money to pay for it or don't want to pay the extra money.
I guess they are, but I guess in a way as well, I guess that's what defines, paying extra for something. You have to get something out of it that's worth the money, and I guess I'm hoping that most people will consider it worthwhile. But on the other hand, I mean, yeah, it does kind of screw people over. But in my experience for games, I mean, it might be different for PC, but for myself in games, I don't ever find that I have to queue. The only times I have to queue is if I have people in the game that I desperately want to join in with them, and then obviously you have to queue. But most of the time, if that were the case, I would just hit up some other map and wait for them to join me. I don't know. But I guess it is an issue sometimes, but there's so many servers, I wouldn't have thought it would be crippling. I don't think it would sort of, ruin your gameplay overall, but I don't know. I guess it's just another thing. It just depends whether people view that as a negative or positive thing, or if it's important at all.
Yeah, it's mostly an issue when you're trying to join with friends that are already in a popular server. If you're going solo, then you can just find a server that's not full, but it tends to be an issue for me frequent enough. Okay, so what else? What else do we got on the list here?
I'm kind of interested by the exclusive videos and strategy guides. Well, not so much strategy guides, but
Interested in those, are you?
yeah, well, no. I mean, I'm kind of. I feel like the whole of YouTube is already one massive Battlefield strategy guide. But do you know what else? Thinking about it right now, I'm actually kind of a bit irritated that this is a premium thing. Because to be honest, strategy guides and basic guides should be something that they built into the game from day one. Saying, you know, okay, never played the game before? Well, for this game mode, you do this, this, this. You know, I think that's something that should have been there. And Christ, if you can do it, if I can do it in 10 minutes and make a little video saying, hey, basic rules, this is how you play the game. Come on, could they not have done that?
Right, and also I was thinking about it. Do they have an actual tutorial or manual at any point in the game? Are there even tooltips? I know previous Battlefield games have had tooltips enabled, and you could turn them off, and they'd sort of give you little tips like you got in the Jeep, hit this button to zoom in or something.
They have them on the loading
screens.
screens.
Currently, like I just found out a few weeks ago that if you hit 2 on the keyboard when you're using a mortar, it switches you to smoke. Like, I've been playing. I've got almost 400 hours into this game, and I didn't know that because there's no manual. There's no like official. This is how you use the mortar.
You didn't know mortars put smoke down. Seriously.
Yeah, I didn't know how to put down smoke because there's no instructions on how to do it. And I mean, whoa, there goes soda cans.
I'm keeping that in, mate.
my entire tower of soda cans. It's a real nerd cave in here.
Okay, so I think it's a good place to wrap it up now. I just want to note that I think it's kind of interesting that DICE have chosen to release this premium content during E3, basically, next Monday the 4th, if that is indeed the date. So I think we could see a lot more information then, and obviously they will have a stand, I would assume, at E3, and therefore I would assume that they want to use that as a platform to kind of give a lot more information about this and perhaps upcoming releases as well. So I think that'll be really interesting, and I think that'll be one to watch during E3 and see what they give us there.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching the E3 live stream to keep up on any of the news coming out with the Close Quarters and Battlefield Premium. They're definitely going to get my money on the 4th, and I'll be playing those new maps as soon as possible, checking out the new guns as soon as possible, and even those unique weapon camos. So every few weeks, I think Luetin and I are going to be having a dialogue on upcoming Battlefield 3 features and just hot topics that people are talking about in the world of Battlefield. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you guys next time.